Well, it's a sunny April Friday at the range, and you can tell by the shadows that the sun is starting to get a little lower in the sky. And casting that shadow is an H&R Handi-Rifle in 270 Winchester. I just picked this up a couple days ago. It's got an inexpensive Cabela's multi-turret centerfire 3 to 12 scope on it. It has a BDC turret on it for 130 grain power point. I did a little bit of work on the rifle, not a lot. I changed the scope rings. It had some very tall rings on it that were the sight through type, and I found these relatively low quick sight rings in a Ziploc bag in some of my stuff, so they fit. I've got enough clearance over the hammer back here to make that work. And to get the cheek weld a little bit better, I just put this ammo wrap on the stock, and I've got a couple of pieces of naugahyde below that to just raise this up just a little bit, and that gives me a reasonable cheek weld with this rifle. And I bought this rifle because I have a lot of 270 ammo. I have many boxes of factory loaded 270 that was purchased on sale, and I have a lot of things that were given to me by family and friends over time. So I figured having a 270 to just shoot things up with would be a good call. This little H&R will hopefully fit the bill. I'm going to start here at 50 yards and see if I can get it sighted in. I did a real quick bore sight on it at home, and we'll see how close it is. I got the target camera up there, so I'll get everything turned on and we'll get the initial shots fired. Okay, well, I have everything all set up. A little bit different camera angle. I just clamped the camera on the shooting bench. We'll see how that works out. We're going to start out seeing if we can get this Handi-Rifle sighted in at 50 yards. This is a 110 grain Spire Point H4895. We'll see how this goes. This will be the first shots fired from the rifle, that since I've owned it anyway. And we might as well bring up some magnification here and get things focused. The scope does have side focus, so that's kind of nice. Like I said, I did work on this a little bit at home and bore sighted it and tried to get the reticle to my liking. So we'll see how we do here at 50 yards. I haven't shot any 270 in a long time. And you guys can see on the target camera, I've got a white pizza box, and what I've got up there is the center section out of a yellow target with kind of a red colored ring. I figured that'll give me enough area to see my points of impact, I hope. So let's go ahead and bring the hammer back. Oh, and that shot well high. Way up at the top of the pizza box. Holy cow. Can that be that far off? Let's dial in a whole bunch of down here. Let's see. Go about that much down. That's surprising that my bore sight was that far off. Wow. Let's take a look at that brass. Yeah, I don't see anything to worry about there. Okay. Well, let's take a look at another one. Okay, and that did come down about half of the error, so let's go ahead and Put some more down in there. Up is that way, down is that way. So if I put about another half a turn of down in it, let's try it about right there. And I do need some left. Let's try about that much. And again, that brass looks fine. Okay, shot number 3. Okay, well, I don't know if my adjustments were good or if I just got lucky, but that one is in the vicinity of the middle of the circle. So since that worked out about right, let's try another. Looks like everything's kind of staying tight here. I don't see any problems. Barrel's a little warm, but not hot. Go ahead and set up for number 4. That one's a little bit higher and to the right. The trigger isn't horrible. It's a little bit harsh, I guess you'd say. And shot number 5. Of course, moving the rifle around this much and my kind of throw together bag setup isn't going to be tremendous accuracy, but we're just trying to get her sighted in today. That looks pretty good. Okay. Let's give this brass a little bit closer look. Yeah, it'll be interesting to measure the brass and see how much it's grown. I don't see anything real strange about it. It certainly doesn't have a rough chamber or anything like that. The brass looks real good. So there's 5, and we're in the vicinity. Let's look through the scope again there. Yeah, I think the one that was in the center flew more left than it ought to. So I think I'm going to dial a little bit more left into it. Try that. Let's go ahead and run another one. Boy, the sun is out, but it is not tremendously warm. It was mid-40s last I looked, and the wind is blowing just a little bit, so and the breeze and the air are chilly. The sun is warm, but the air is chilly. I moved my target a little bit further to the right than I normally do so that setting up the bench I'd be in the sun. Okay. Shot number 6 from the Handi-Rifle. Yeah, this is my first time with a Handi-Rifle. I've always seen them around. I would like to have one in 300 blackout. I think that would be fun. Okay, well I moved it a little bit left on the scope and the bullet went a little bit left, so. Let's try another. Okay, that one's right in the region too. One thing I did notice about this scope at home when I was setting it up is I think it's pretty sensitive of the eye box. You can move around and you can see the crosshairs move, so I think that there's a fair amount of parallax. It does have the side focus over here, so that's supposed to help with that parallax, but yeah, it's, you know, in dialing it in for the crispest image, it is right about at 50 yards on the dial, so I don't think the optics are too bad on this scope. One thing I also did notice is when you move the power ring, there's a tiny bit of movement in the reticle as well, and I don't particularly care for that. It's a rotational movement, so it's, you know, it's probably suitable for field accuracy or whatnot, but it's what was on the rifle when I got it. I was kind of interested in playing with the BDC reticle. I do like the side focus feature, and this does have nice adjustable knobs, so for a range toy or a field rifle, it certainly may be adequate, but it's definitely a budget-minded scope. Okay, let's see if I can get another one in there in the center, kinda. It's pleasant to shoot. It's got a rather large, squishy recoil pad on it. It's, you know, it is jumping around a little bit, but it's certainly not unpleasant. Yeah, so I'm playing around with the reticle here. Yeah, I think it's sensitive of the eye box. I think it's a scope that you definitely need to stay behind. Yep, that's kind of in that same vicinity, so we've got it pretty close. I need to get a little bit better discipline on the hold and the squeeze, but the rifle is doing its part. Yeah, I don't see anything that concerns me with it. I think it's worthy of moving back. I think we're settled in enough with the scope alignment that I could go back. I don't really feel motivated about sitting in the shade back there today. Maybe I'll shoot it a little bit more up here with some different ammo, but might as well run the rest of these through there. There's only 3 more and 1 in the chamber, so see how that goes. Try not to be jumpy here. Yep, that's kind of over there with those others. Yep, I got a cluster there, kind of around the 11 o'clock area. Yeah, it's enjoyable to shoot. Okay, let's see what happens. I couldn't tell if that was right in that same area or if it came to the right a little bit, but it's certainly on the little yellow target. It's kind of interesting putting these long 270 cartridges in and out. My other single shot firearms contender, most of the things I shoot are a good bit shorter than 270. Yep, that one looks like it came down a little lower there. I was playing a little bit with the rear bag and how I was holding it back there, and I moved things around. I'm kind of squirming a little bit here, trying to find something that's comfortable. I am noticing with the recoil, the muzzle is going to the right. I'm not square behind the rifle, and part of that is I'm kind of just, maybe I'll try moving the bags over a little bit here and see if that helps a bit. That might be a little bit better there. Okay, I got one more of these 110s. You know, 270 is a nice looking cartridge. Now I have read on Handi-Rifles, you know, I say this is my first one. I have read where some people say that it's best to rest it closer to the receiver. I did put a rubber washer between the forearm and the barrel. I've read that kind of helps the barrel float a little bit. Like I said, I got this earlier this week. I just did a real quick change on the scope rings, and to get the scope down to a reasonable height, put this ammo carrier on there with a couple of pieces of Naugahyde in there to get a little bit better cheek weld. I'm happy with that for now, but I haven't done anything else to it other than run a patch down the barrel. I don't think it was used a lot. I think it sat a lot. You can see there's a little bit of oxidation color on the hammer and this hammer extender. I haven't cleaned any of that up yet. I just, pretty much just wiped everything off and took care of the scope rings. So, all right, the last round of 110 grain. Let's see how we do. Yep, that definitely changed things a lot. Okay, that's pretty good. Let's see how we do on this last one. See if we can get it in with those others. Okay, that shot, because I'm more square behind the rifle, the muzzle didn't go nearly as much to the right as it has been, so the posture might be a little better with that setup. I only came off the target just a tiny bit. It's still, when I followed through on the shot, my crosshairs were pretty much lined up with the right edge of the yellow of that target background, so a little bit better executed, I think. Yep. Yeah, I think the brass looks fine. You can see some machine marks in the primer because the breech of the rifle is not a mirror finish for sure, so you get that texture showing in the primer, but I don't see anything to worry about on those. So now I've got some fire formed brass. One that I dropped had dirt in it. Okay, well, I'll put these in the bag. We'll go down and hit the target real quick and go from there. Okay, here's the first batch of shots from the Handi-Rifle in 270. This was the first shot up here. I made a scope adjustment and came to here. I made another scope adjustment and came down in this area somewhere. I don't remember which one. And then we got over here and we kind of kept everything right around in that area. I don't feel bad about this for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. For the first 12 shots at 50 yards, I don't think that that's too shabby for reference. There's what we're dealing with. So if you look at the crux of them here, we're probably 3 inches or so, once we got things dialed in, because I believe that was still there. We made a scope adjustment. Then I came a little bit further left again and got that. So I think right about here is where it's sighted. So, you could say right now we're, 2.5, and out of my funky bag setup and just plinking them, I think we're looking good. So what I have here is another target. I'll get some different ammo out and see if I can't put a group on one of these targets.